Welcome back to Free Speech Nation with me, Josh Howie. Emma Watson has said that she still loves Harry Potter author JK Rowling and refuses to cancel her out. This is despite several stars of the Potter films, including Emma, publicly cancelling Rowling for her gender-critical views in 2020. JK Rowling has seemed to rebuff Watson, responding to the following video that she is here for all of the spoofs.
When it comes to my relationship with Jo, obviously, I will never forget the opportunity that she gave me. She saw something so special in me. I will always hold space for her and so much love in my heart for her, and I would hope that she felt the same way about me.
So that is friend of the show, Intel Lady, doing a spoof of Emma Watson there. So perspectives are seemingly shifting back towards common sense. The question remains, though, should those who led the witch hunt be forgiven? Joining me now to discuss this is the author and spokesperson for Sex Matters, Fiona McAnena. Hello. Fiona, it's been quite a ride the last decade or so. When you have Emma Watson, and then we also had Richard Dawkins this week coming out and just saying trans women are men. Are we coming to the end of a crazy decade?
Well, I'd like to think so. And I think there are some other positive signs, too, that things are shifting. When you see the media starting to say trans women are men, then I think we really are winning. But Emma Watson was careful, wasn't she, not to go too far. I think what she's going to find now is you can't sit on the fence. She was a real cheerleader for Mermaids, the charity, and for transitioning children and for people knowing who they are.
There's also kind of there's that clip of her at the BAFTAs, and it was just kind of like a really snidey, there's that bit where she says, I'm here for all the witch, like, but one. Or what, yeah, it was just nasty.
Yeah.
Right when JK Rowling was getting a lot of rape threats, death threats.
So whether she is trying to row back from that full-hearted support for transitioning children, or whether she's just trying to get back in with JK Rowling in the hope of work, who knows? Richard Dawkins is an interesting case because, you know, I'm sure when he wrote The God Delusion, he thought that was quite out there. It turns out that saying men can't become women is even more out there, and who would have thought that? But he is someone whose career is so established that he's not at any risk. The real win is when ordinary people can say those things. And I don't think we're quite there yet.
And say it in their employment and with their friends and not risk cancellation.
Yes, I mean, legally they can say that in the UK because of the Forstater ruling. But in practice, we hear from people all the time that it's difficult, it's scary, they worry, they might get into trouble. And people are self-censoring still because they fear they'll be in trouble, whether they will or not. So we're not quite there yet, but, you know, every time that someone, whether it's Richard Dawkins or even Emma Watson, puts a toe in the water and says a little more clearly that men can't be women, and sometimes we can't even pretend that, then that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about the response that Emma Watson's received. I believe on Blue Sky, and particularly, she has received a lot of abuse, and it's horrible, people getting abused for this, but it's like, if you don't go 100% with it and follow all of the doctrine, and also, of course, Richard Dawkins is debunking a religion, and that's really what gender ideology has proven itself to be, because it will not allow criticism, and it won't, and also it sort of doesn't matter what evidence you have.
No, it's very intolerant, you know, and some religions are, most religions are intolerant of dissent and heretics. And he has been dissenting about all religions for a long time, so you would expect someone like him to see through this. And more people are seeing the harm. I mean, his book is about the harm that this ideology is doing to science and to research. So maybe Emma Watson's got a few more steps to go, but maybe she's taken the first step.
Okay, well, look, I want to talk about this. This is your book. I've never sort of sold a book like this heavily, I don't think before, because it is so good. This is TERF Island. You wrote this, and this, it's a bunch of things at once. It tells the story of British women who really fought back against this gender ideology, and and the impact that we now see across the world. And I personally found it so incredibly inspiring, because what it proved for me anyway was how just a disparate few people. These are normal women in their professions who found this cause, who wanted to protect women, who wanted to protect children, and how by working hard, unpaid, They changed the world. It's incredible. Did you feel like this is the right time for this story now to sort of come out, that we've kind of reached a point?
Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about it for a couple of years before I got really serious about it, because people talk about TERF Island and some of them are paying us a massive compliment and saying, look at how those guys have done it, and they want to emulate us, people in North America, Australia and so on. Other people in those same countries are calling us TERF Island, and it's a slur, it's an insult, they think that we are full of hate. So it's for the first group, really. I wanted them to know how we did it, and for them to see that these women I've written about, they are both ordinary and extraordinary. And if you're in a situation where you can dare to speak out, not everyone can, but if you can, then I do think anyone can do this. But I also wanted to write stories that people would enjoy reading. So it's not intended as a...
It's not po-faced or anything. It's like you're sort of fascinated and you'll read. And certainly if you've been involved on the peripheries of it, and you can sort of find out the details and like, oh, that person knew that person and that's where they met there, and then this crazy thing happened. Yeah,
some of the connections are fun. And I think also some of what went on behind the scenes, with policymakers, with government and so on, is quite shocking. I would say I certainly emerged more cynical from having read it. If I can say, Richard Dawkins said it was an engaging and important book, and I was very chuffed. The day he said that. Of course, I've printed that in the book too.
Well, it is important, because whether or not you are that interested with it, with the whole gender ideology and the debunking of it, for me, it is this kind of manifesto for how people can make a change, how they can really change the world.
Yes, and Nick Williams, who's one of the women whose campaign I wrote about in the book, she agreed to take part because she said, this is a model that other people can follow. It doesn't have to be about gender. If it is about gender, there's a lot in there, but actually it's to say, if you want to make a difference, just try. And you can. Absolutely. Well, look, thank you so much for joining us. The author and spokesperson for Sex Matters, Fiona McAnena. She's written a book. I wouldn't say it if it wasn't a brilliant book, and I actually did read it as well. I had a bubble bath and I read most of it.